right, everybody, welcome to La Cultura podcast. We've been gone for a minute. I'm your host, Alma. I'm here with my boy Melvin. We're going to talk about his album that he just released, Eros. And Melvin, what's up, man?
Yeah, was good.
Not much, man. Really enjoying your album, man, and I'm glad to finally get you in here. Me and Melvin go way back, and it is really awesome to see you come from just the writer and requinto, if you will, in a lot of songs to being a full-blown artist. Just production and mixing, collaborations are crazy on this album. So I just
Thanks,
wanted,
bro.
yeah. So why, what? I would like to get into the how did you come about saying like, hey, I want to do this as an artist? You mean just being the guy that's doing the guitars, and then all of a sudden, because you've been telling me you've been wanting to do an album since the beginning, even when you were doing that.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. I kind of like just heard all the same shit that people keep making. Everything sounded kind of like the same, and well, obviously not Jr. So I was just like, you know what, I could do this shit. So I just started experimenting, and I was like, it's not that bad. So then I started writing. I did Antidote. Um, I think it took me like 6 or 7 months to do Antidote. Then
Oh, 6 and 7 months. That's long for you.
I know now it's like two weeks and shit. I get a whole full blown production back.
Yeah.
And then then I did Lifeless, and then I was like, it was kind of like a slow start, and then when I released Passion Fruit, a lot of people started liking it, so
Yeah.
I started making, I started fast tracking the music, and then I was like, you know what, let me make a project. But I've been having the concept of Eros for a long time, bro. It's probably like 2016, 2017.
Holy crap, man. That's a long
Yeah,
time.
I
So
know.
in the back of your creative mind, even when you were just like laying down quintos for other artists, you knew that eventually you wanted to do something like this. It was just when you wanted to pull the trigger on it. If that's safe to say, is that pretty much what it was?
Yeah,
Uh, I
basically.
I remember we had a conversation way back where you were talking about like trying to start your own project and everything, and trying to start an album. Um, were you concentrated on trying to build that network to do that? Did you feel like at that point that you needed some more experience to get there, or did you feel like, I mean, because I see a lot of artists where they have no collaboration, nothing. They try to launch a project, and you obviously didn't do it that way. You've come a long way with uh, running across people that can help you finish this project. I want to also bring up your brother. Sounds by Moon, right?
Yeah.
What's his famous? Shoot him. Are you guys saying shoot him to the moon?
Nah, it says straight up to the moon.
Oh, straight up to the moon. Okay, I love that little soundbite that you guys put in the songs. But yeah, this album just shows the years of work. I've had a friend listen to your album, which is like, oh my god, these like these sounds, this and that, and I was, it's like, how did he just come out of nowhere? I was like, well, not really, man, not really. So just explain to me how when meeting and collaborating with other people, did you plan on Eros being uh, do you ever think it would sound the way it sounds is what I want to say with and without these collaborative um
Nah,
pieces in it?
nah, I don't think so. Cause I feel like it took me so long to put something together. Cause I think I was just trying to figure out my sound. I mean, I knew like Manado it was gonna be different, but I knew that I could push it a little bit more. Um, and then my brother started making music like a year or two after I started like releasing music. So that's why you start hearing his name a little bit more on my stuff. And he's a beast, man. He did stuff with Lil TJ, like these big artists.
Yeah.
So we just kind of been working together, and he's been helping. He's been like one of the main people to shape my sound. So yeah, this album is just is a collection of songs from like 4 years ago to like 2 years ago. So there's nothing really super recent on the album. Everything's like kind of old material, but it sounds like in like 10 years, it sounds like what Bachata would be type of thing.
Well, when you were releasing your individual projects, I would a lot of your Drake covers are very popular. As everybody knows, Melvin's a big fan of Drake, but
For one,
what's cool about it is what I really appreciate about your Drake bachata covers, because Drake bachata covers any, I guess, with popular pop songs that get turned into bachata are pretty cool. there's a lot of remixes done, but mostly the DJs are the ones doing it. You're a producer, you play the requinto. So what was so refreshing about hearing your Drake covers was one, it was you singing it, and you
Word.
kind of put your own style in it, like the Drake of the bachata. And also you dropping the requintos down there, so it really did feel like it was. It can almost be like, hey, this was an original bachata song,
Yeah,
versus like,
yeah,
oh, that sounds like a they pulled it off some other song, because there's songs I've never heard before, and I'll see a DJ remixing a bachata, and I know it wasn't a bachata originally. Um,
yeah.
so I would like to know like how much of an influence that has had into you, because I honestly, like, we've known each other for so long, but I don't really know how much influence that's had in what your sound is now. Like, where does your influences come from? Because it's definitely not, the bachata element, yes, but everything else, what makes you
Yeah, yeah.
different, definitely not bachata.
All right, so Drake obviously is one of the biggest influences I got. Back in like I had a high school phase when I was just listening to heavy metal, punk rock, shit like that. I still listen to some of that. Like the Strokes are a big influence for me. Like their guitars is like so simple, but it makes you wanna kind of like just makes you want to play it. You know what I mean? Even if you don't know how to play
Yeah,
guitar, like that's what I strive for when I make my solos. So there's nothing you like. You probably noticed there's nothing crazy, none of that crazy like none of that
yeah,
bachata shit. It's more like a smooth,
it's
easy
a
on the
vibe.
ears type of shit. Yeah, yeah.
It's a
And
vibe.
not to discount the bachata shit because that
Yeah,
shit could be getting lit. But like I said, a lot of people do that shit. It sounds the same. I just wanted to branch out. But as far as influences, yeah. So Drake, The Strokes, Breaking Benjamin. I love Breaking Benjamin. Um, J Cole. You know, people like that. Just
very very
chill, low
urban.
key
Yeah.
people. Yeah,
I like how you brought in like not just like the urban side, because when people think of urban bachata, they think of like hip hop R&B influenced bachata, and yours is like, but they'll be influenced by like the old school R&B and
yeah,
influence.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
Like
kind of like the
Usher
Toby
type of
Love,
thing.
if you will. He's very heavily influenced by like R&B, as what we know in the early 2000s and even going back. Yours is definitely influenced by like the new sound of R&B, which is kind of melted over in hip hop because of people like Drake, Majid Jordan, and all these other artists.
Yeah, yeah. You can
You
even
know,
put like what's his name? What's
The Weekend.
you can say the weekend. Yeah, there's a song coming out that I have with my boy Sammy Bauer that's very weekend esque.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like even like the new people like the mumble rap,
Hmm.
but not the ones that mumble, the ones that are coherent.
Yeah.
That I like that. I like that stuff too. So I kind of blend that in there. Like I have this, you know what drill is, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I have this drill style bachata, but it's early, so I'm still
Yeah.
working on it. But that
Yeah.
one's gonna be crazy, yo.
I think a lot of people, when they talk about, a lot of artists will be like, will say on their on their tracks, sounds different. It's different. I'm different, and honestly, it's not different. It doesn't sound
No,
different.
I say that shit all the time, bro. I'm like, I don't know what these people are. Like, I get you're part of your work, but what are you hearing that's different in your ears that's not out there already?
Exactly. And that's what's really impressive about this album, Eros. It's different. Me as a consumer, it's very critical of hearing different genres. When especially bachata, because bachata is one thing like I hold near and dear to my heart, and most Dominicans do. We're very protective over bachata and merengue because it's our music. The
Yeah,
origins come from our country. That being said, though, there's been this lock of artists that, one, they have to pretty much be Dominican. If you're not Dominican, you've broken out in bachata. You worked really hard and put some really good song out for people outside of the Dominican community to accept you. Um,
which is sad. Yeah,
or yeah, or you're half Dominican. um,
yeah,
that being said, that means we're shortened to a smaller playing field of people that can change the game, because we're waiting on Dominicans. Luckily, Melvin is Dominican, so that's one big thing.
100%.
One thing you got going for you. But it finally, it actually is different. So I just want to know, where do you think the future is going? Because there are new artists pop up every single day on Instagram, and now it's a lot easier because it's not as expensive to make music anymore. But now that leads
Yeah.
us to the creativity portion, whether people are going to copycat another artist, because we're all always influenced by another artist. But
Hmm.
what do you think the future is for bachata? Do you feel like we are going to move into that uh that I don't want to say OVO sound, but like the kind of latest type of R&B
Like,
that we're hearing in trap music, that we're hearing in the Weekend or Majid Jordan type music.
nah, I don't think so, man. I think a lot of people are just turned off by the whole idea of changing the sound of it. Like people have been trying this shit for years, man.
Hmm.
I've been doing it for years, but I've kind of been low key until recently. But that's just never gonna change, bro. It's always gonna be mainstream is never gonna change. I feel like we're in the most creative process underground for bachata artists. There's a lot of different players and they have their own like uniqueness to them and shit. But mainstream, nah, it's always gonna be the same two players, Romeo Royce, and the radio's still gonna be playing the '90s and late '80s and things like that. I don't see this sound going anywhere in mainstream, but it's definitely the future.
Man, that's crazy to say. It almost like kind of stabs my heart when I hear that,
Yeah,
because I'm kind of a pessimist when it comes to that. I like to be optimistic a lot of times, but right now when people ask me about bachata, future bachata in mainstream, I tell them the best things we'll hear are new artists that sound like the artists that we've heard in the past, and that's it. And so we're gonna like salsa. Like salsa's never changed. People have tried to change salsa, but it's so heavily driven on percussion. The percussions kind of dominate that you can't mess with that too much, otherwise it won't be salsa.
yeah,
Bachata, I feel it's the same way, but bachata, I feel there's like a lot more play just because of your 4/4 simple beat that you have in the base of bachata. Um, the last, who do you think is the last person to change the game in the mainstream? We obviously knows there's like Daventura, there's Romeo, because with him, he's collaborated with other people to create the newer sound. There's Prince Royce, but who before them was changing the game? Because I see a change, and I'll uh, to stop my rant because I'm trying to get it back on Melvin here. But the thing is that personally, I see the change in you, an artist like you and JR, where you have like your Luis Segura. You remember Luis Segura, right? Back in the day, if you listen to his music, it's really not bachata kinda, but it kind of was. And then you go
yeah,
into like Anthony Santos and Luis Vargas and all these people. You're like, bro, they're starting to solidify this bachata. What it sounds like is
yeah. They
Anthony
changed it
Ferreira,
first.
Raulín, Frank Reyes, all these groups. They all fall in that category, and all of a sudden, boom, Aventura shows up. It's like, whoa. When Aventura used to say we changed the game or something different, you're like, you listen to them, you're like, bro, that does not sound like the crap my older cousins or my parents listened to. That is definitely
Yeah,
new. And then after them, we have Extreme, we have all these newer artists, and so that Prince Royce that to me fall in that category. What is
they all
outside of
fall in the
that
same one.
category? What is outside that category? All these people we see in mainstream bachata today, even though I love their music, is still part of what Aventura had laid down.
Like late
What's
'90s,
next?
early 2000s. Yeah, yep. You could group them all. I agree. You could group them all together. I think Aventura definitely broke those rules first, and it just kept evolving from then. And then Romeo broke off to his own artist. When Romeo did Golden, that was the most unique shit he's ever done.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Um, but
I agree.
but no one's really done anything different in the mainstream world. It's kind of just been JR and myself. I can say that honestly. Just JR and myself have kind of like brought
Because
something fresh.
even in the other artists that I've heard that are different, I noticed that they have you on the guitars. That's the reason why it does sound different.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
you purposely, and rightfully so. And I'm glad they are coming to you. There's a lot of artists that I follow, even people that I know that have reached out to you to collaborate with you because they want that different sound. They see it themselves that hey, if I want to sound different and say I'm different on the track and be completely convinced by that, I need Melvin on my track. Just
Yeah, I
similar
really did say it on my track though.
and possibly his brother if I could get a 2-for-1 price since they're both twins. But honestly, that's the only way. Is it? I think it. What what I'm really what I say impressed by with Eros and what you did in this album is that you collaborated heavily with your brother because you know he would make you sound even more different than what's in the because you already have a sound, but when you put his sound in there, it's almost like it fits. It's like that's what
Yeah,
Melvin
yeah.
needed to
Hmm.
solidify how different his sound is, because you can take the original sound and it won't mix well with your brother's sound, but you can take Melvin's sound and mix it because it is different and it
Yeah.
works. That's what I feel the problem with trying to get trap type influences into bachata is you can't take the aventura style and try to throw it into trap. You can't take Luis Vargas style or Luis Segura style and throw it into trap.
It wouldn't work. Yeah, it
It
wouldn't
wouldn't
work.
work.
That's true. And plus, a lot of people try to do the trap shit, but they use someone that has no idea what to do with trap. So Kelvin, my brother, my twin brother, has a lot of knowledge on how to make shit sound wavy, spacey, trappy, stuff like that. So yeah, he's definitely a big part of the album for sure.
Sweet, man. So since we talked about Eros, we've talked about where bachata my headed. I want to talk a little bit more about some collaborations you had on this album. Leaving myself out because leaving myself out because I already know the story behind that. For most of my followers already know the story behind my collaboration, but I want to focus like on Lori J, right? She's your sister-in-law, was it? Well,
Yeah, she's
kind of through.
my brother's sis, my brother's girl's sister. Well, my brother's fiance's sister.
Yeah,
So
in the
we're basically like
yeah, in the
family.
Dominican world, that's basically family. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
we go.
yeah.
So, I want to talk like your decisions to have collaborations in there. A lot of artists off the get they will just want to do a solely just individual album where it's just them. But in this one, you decided to choose collaborations like that, such as like myself, your brother, Lori J in there for a female part, which I don't think it could that song could have been done any other way.
Word.
Her voice is amazing on that track.
Yeah,
Sometimes
she's good.
sometimes males or females will get a opposite sex on their track, and it's like, ooh, didn't fit right. Was that all you could? Is that all you? Is that all you had?
Ooh.
Is that
Yeah,
all you had?
no,
Yeah.
bro, that song. I don't even remember how long we did it so long. It was probably the same time around the same time we did Kaisa. Um, but yeah, we've worked together. I've done like some acoustic stuff for her. We did covers before. Nothing recorded professionally, just like on a video. So I was like, you know what? Let's do a song together, and we did it. I have a very early version. I didn't touch that for like two years maybe, and then I was like, man, I gotta make this song better. I didn't have any guitars. It was just because I got that song. I was like, I don't know if I could. I know I could do something with a guitar, but I didn't know how to make it as best as I could because I just had brain farts with it. So I hit up Oscar, and then Oscar was one that did guitars on that.
Oscar Scissorhands.
Scissor hands, and that's crazy because as a guitarist, man, people were like, "Well, you play guitar? Why'd you?" I was like, "Bro, I just like to work with people, man." And he killed that. I couldn't have done that shit any better, bro.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna.
couldn't have I couldn't have done what he did.
That was my next question too. Is like you collaborating with another guitarist. It's like because you're a quinto by trade. That's like the first thing you did before you even started mixing. Before you started, you mean
Yep.
doing all the extra stuff that you do. Uh, it's the reason I even wanted to collaborate with you in the future when I was trying to do music was because I knew you for your quinto. When I saw you doing your own projects, I was like, whoa. And I know all the requintos. A lot of you guys follow each other and you mean give each other high fives and stuff in projects that y'all do. But I thought it was so cool that you reached out to another requinto to hop on your track. I was like, well, that's different. And I feel like
Bro,
that's
I'm all about it, bro. I'm all about it.
that's awesome because it's really great sound. And I honestly, even though I love your requinto, I think Oscar was made for
For
that
that
track,
song,
and
yeah.
it's pretty sick and it's cool because I've been following Oscar for a while, and I think I don't know if he was doing. I don't even think he was collaborating with Kellen at the time when I started following him. He was just uploading little
No, he
videos.
wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't not even with Kellen at the time. Um, but that's awesome. Oh, speaking of Kellen, I want to talk about collaborations with people like Kellen. Kellen, he's got a pretty big, I would say, like notoriety. You know what? I'm not gonna even say words I can't even pronounce anymore on these podcasts. I'm over here trying to come up with the people's like, yo, David's like, just not have that language. But I would say Kellen's like pretty well known in the bachata community, in the dancing community. He's got tons of views, and obviously you're somebody that's getting at that level. I believe once people keep hearing your sound, influencing these other artists, you're going to be getting there pretty soon. And I wanted, how is it like working with somebody that like you both have been kind of climbing at the same time, uh, in this community in the network? How did this finally like come about where you were just like, I need to get a song with Kelvin? Because I'm pretty sure it was in the back of your mind for a while, and I'm pretty sure it was in the back of his mind for a while that, oh yeah, yeah, we'll collaborate, but
Yeah, yeah.
just time and space wasn't in the right place.
So that shout outs to my boy Callan. He's a great songwriter, great singer. He's up there on the difference list too. Um, but yo, that song came about because DJ Tigre, he was looking for someone to do. He knows that I sing like Drake,
Mm-hmm.
so he was like, "Yo, let's do No Guidance." He was like, "Who should we get for to do Chris Brown's part?" And he was like, "Well, he was like, I got Miggy Miggs, because Miggy Miggs would have killed that too,
Mm-hmm.
but Miggy Miggs was like, nah." So I was like, "Yo, ask Calvin." So Tigre was like, you know, I tell him to do me the favor for my birthday type of thing because it was his birthday, and Calvin did it. I don't know if it would have happened any other way, but it happened, and it came out cool. It was with DJ Khalid, but there's two different versions of that song. I have one of just strictly the shit that I did. I don't want to say it's better, but I prefer it. But we both did our thing too, yeah. And that's how that song came about. But me and him are trying to work on an original, so he's open to collaborating. It's just he's busy, man.
Yeah, it is. I mean, both of you are pretty busy dudes. I would say, I don't think you've ever stopped working on material, even when things weren't being posted. You were still constantly working on materials. I personally know just because with working with you on my own projects and your projects, I see that you're constantly doing stuff. But the thing is that what I see different from in you and in this album Eros than I see in any other albums that came out. Made a post that said Eros is the best bachata album of the year. Fight me, like
Who?
because
When does it prove me wrong?
yeah, exactly. And I would say a big part of it does, and I've told you many times, and I would like the viewers to understand that out of all the artists that I see right now, that I say have a future, whether it's in the style that's going on here or like changing the game, Melvin falls in the category of changing the game. Not only that, but he has the resources to do it. You do your requintos, you do a lot of your mixing. Uh, you're at the point where people want to collaborate with you on the mixing and mastering. So if you do want to go that route and use somebody else, you can. You have your twin brother. I mean, nothing's better than working with like family when it comes to
Word.
trying to collaborate in music.
Especially a beast.
You have your brother, you have production side, you have your whole team, you have your whole network on how to, and then you have the dance community that backs you up. I think that you're in a position where there's certain things that won't be I guess obstacle for a lot of upcoming artists I see that may possibly have a chance. They have to pay somebody else to do the requintos for them. They have to pay somebody else to do the bongos, and then next the bajo, like the bass, and then it comes to the point where now it's like I need to raise money to do one single track, let alone an album.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, are you even different enough? Are you even creative enough in your own songwriting
How are you
abilities?
gonna stand out, type of
How
thing?
are you going to stand out? So for those people, it's hard because they need to develop that network first if they're going to want to save money. Because I'm sorry, it's like even my friends that I do music with, I pay, and they give me family prices, but that's because you become friends with people, and I think there's a level of favoritism that should be shown in that part. But at the same time, dudes can't be working for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This thing costs money. There's a price tag. Like for example, your price tag when you first started is a lot higher than when you is a lot higher now than when you first started, rightfully so. So that way, that underground artist that's trying to come up there and he comes around you, you're going to be asking a different price than what it was back then because as you grow. So that's an obstacle that I see a lot of artists running into that I feel that can do something. And I'm sorry, but that's just the nature of the beast. If you're Melvin
Or
War, if I was Melvin War, I would not undershoot myself on my money and my time to help another underground artist. Uh, do you feel that kind of way? Like I mean, I might getting a little of the business side of it and everything, but it goes into like how many underground artists can we get up there?
no, I mean if it's I mean I try to help everyone out. For example, like if people just want guitars, that price I'm never changing because that's what that's that's the shit that I started with. That I have a lot of experience there. But when it comes to like production, I know like a lot of remixers they don't. They're just remixes, so they don't really look for production. So when I get these underground artists, the most recent one was well, I'm doing one for Symphony now, but the most recent one I completed was Freeze.
Mm.
So I did a song for him. He's cool. He shares my music. He's all about it. So helped him out a little bit.
Yeah.
Still, it's not like I went like half. I was like, no, look, this is what I'll charge you for the whole song, and then we're good. Leave it like that. Because he's really. Have you heard him before?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's good, man.
Yeah, you share some. That's somebody I believe in.
Yo, you got to hear that song,
I
man.
got.
I mean, that not that song, but that album. That one's good.
Yeah, hopefully one day I'll be able to get him on the show, but I need. But
Word.
right now, just because we have this history thing, I really appreciate you coming on here. This is your first interview since Eros, and I really wanted to bring you on here for that. I don't want to get like put you in a spot where it's like a tell all thing and stuff, but
Nah,
it's
you
just
good,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. We both know how we feel about this. It's just that I feel there's a lot of uh here's like where I was kind of headed with all this. There's a lot of people that known people while they were underground, and then those people become big to a certain extent. And then these people on the bottom are like, hey, we'll help a brother out. And like, what are you doing to help the little foundlings, the underlings out as well? When they don't realize, like, hey, people like Melvin and Kelvin are still trying to get to the top as well. The industry, JR as well, like the industry, the mainstream is keeping them from making this like, hey, I can quit my day job, I can quit everything. Like, tell the wife, the kids that we got a retirement plan here because it doesn't work. Like, you can have 1 million views on YouTube and you still got to put in work as an artist. You can have thousands of followers. You still got to put work in as an artist, and getting
Word.
into the mainstream without having to give away your creativity, your own creativity, and putting out the albums you want. It takes work to convince the mainstream that they need you in there. And I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like, hey, I want to convince the mainstream they need us in there? Or is it more of a like, hey man, if the mainstream doesn't want us, whatever, we got the underground. I just want to hear your take on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm not too worried about the mainstream, man. It's more just like I'm cool with the underground scene. I know that there's a lot of creativity there, and mainstream is always the same thing. It's always top 40, so you're always gonna hear for Bachata, it's always gonna be Romeo, Anthony Santo, Aventura. Aventura, bro, they're not even a group anymore, and they're still getting mad love.
There's still,
So, you know what I mean? I've lost all interest in being mainstream. If it happens, cool. I did it first. Nah, just
yeah.
kidding.
Hey, that's why I'm documenting it. This podcast is called La Cultura, and there's a reason why I have you on here because I feel that if this culture is going to expand, if it's going to advance, we need artists like you. I told I was gonna make another controversial because I honestly feel we're at the point 2020 where we need to start getting controversial with our culture, especially our music. Is we talk about inclusivity and all this stuff. Yes, it has to be merited with some kind of what do you call that? Uh, some kind of level of skill. We just can't be inviting dudes that aren't Dominican into bachata if they suck. They got to be good. But if they're good, then we should invite more of these people. Why is it that bachata still is only producing uh, Dominican, uh, Dominican artists when genres like reggaeton have Colombians, Mexicans, and you keep hitting into the top 40, changing the sound. Like I feel bachata, even though yes, it's very Dominican, it needs to expand. That's what Romeo did with Aventura. He goes to Peru,
Yeah,
he sells out. So there's an interest for Peruvian for bachata, and I know some people in Peru that have tried bachata. Manny, one of our good friends, has these artists from Chile that do bachata. That
Liani and Akai, right, or whatever.
yeah, so there's people out there outside of the out of our realm, but the things are going to keep producing this mainstream bachata if they
Bro,
can't.
Pinto's Puerto Rican, bro.
Yeah, unless we get
He's
people.
nasty.
He's super nasty. Pinto Picasso, bro.
he's
This guy,
out. He's a game changer too.
he is a game
Another
changer.
game changer.
I kind of want him to commit more to bachata for a little bit, yo, because he's a talented trap artist. Like he does some trap music that are just bangers. I'm just like, dude, I love your bang spot. Like, I'm selfish. I want him to do some more bachata because I know if he gets in there, we're just growing the army of game changers, and we need that. Um, we're in the army of game changers. For Eros, what's your plan in the future for? I would guess say like your next project or collaborations. I'm not gonna try to put you in a spot where you're gonna like.
Nah, bro. Hey, I
You
know
got.
exactly how to answer this, bro. So,
Oh, you got a press coach back there.
what he said? What he said? Bring what?
Oh
He
wait,
said,
what?
nah, bro. My next song's coming out on New
If you
Year's
ain't
Day,
listening
and
to me, you ain't Dominican.
yeah, chill. All right,
My
Alma
bad, bro.
Biden. Alma Biden. Nah, fucking my next track is coming out on New Year's Day, and it's a collaboration again in Melvin War fashion. It's called Hours with my boy Sammy Bauer.
Ooh, Sammy
But I have
Bauer.
a
All right.
you heard him?
Bro, yeah. Sammy Bauer is
Did?
it this Sammy Bauer that man, I don't want to put his business out, out here. It's not the same Bauer that was like locked up in the past, right? They got back out.
Nah, nah.
Okay, there's different Sammy Bauer. Okay,
There's
because there's a Sammy Bauer that was
another
really
one?
popular back in the day. He actually
Oh
had a
nah.
bachata too.
Did he? Oh, I don't know. No, it's
Hmm.
not this one then. This guy's a
Okay.
straight R&B soul dude. But anyways, I'm working on getting another project out by before whenever officially summer is, June 20, whatever it is. Before that, it's gonna be called Summertime Sadness. It's an EP, 6 songs. This is gonna be the first single to kick it off unofficially, and then I got 5 more songs, and I think 3 of them are gonna be collabor. Well, 3 plus the Sammy Bar one, so 4 collaborations and 2 solos.
Yeah, dude.
And I got all those songs done already.
Oh, they're already done. Oh man, it's different. You got that Eros out, and now it's finally because Eros, man. I know they know of one other song besides me and your song that's been out, that's been done. That
Oh
we
yeah, no.
completed, but we finished that. Like I finished my recording my part like way back, and I
I
have to
kept
give it.
touching I kept touching the production. Like
Yeah,
every year I'll touch it once, and it's just like, oh shit, it sounds better
it just
now.
got better. But what I do appreciate from you is that you do know when, hey, I need to release something, because I know too many artists that are like, oh, it's not done yet. Oh, it's gonna be perfect. It's got, and then they'll wait like 6 years. I'm like, damn, homie, you've been talking about this project for 6 years. Like, you need to put it out. And
Yeah,
luckily for you, your style is like, it's the future. I think so. And even though you made this 3 years ago, it's like you were making something that was made for like 10 years from now. So even though
yeah.
it's 3 years from now, it's still you still got another seven before everybody else catches up to the sound.
Yo, like,
Uh,
all right, but so here's the thing, like, I really don't like to talk about my work, but there's one thing I do like to say
that's
is
what you're
my
on here
shit,
for, bro.
that
That's what you.
yeah, my shit definitely is definitely different. Definitely sounds futuristic. That's the only thing I like that I could confirm. I was like, yeah, I make bachata, but it's not. It's like over there. It's not here. It's right there.
Yeah. No, I think people are catching up. I see a lot of songs from Eros just being choreographed to, just video compilations. People in other countries, over in Russia, in Colombia, reposting videos of like them dancing to your music, and a lot of people, especially let's say dancers like the Bacha Twins,
Oh
going,
yeah, yeah,
going full production on your music more than one
yeah,
song. They're just like constantly like, and
yeah. I
that
think they're doing every song. I think they've done.
yeah, that's what I figured was going because they're crushing it, and that just is a testament to because I know I've talked to the Bacha Twins very often, and they are very into they love the old stuff. You can see their videos for people to know who they are. They'll crush on that old school bachata on the footwork and everything. They're very Dominican when it comes to bachata music, but they're very open and they themselves realize that the dance game and the music side needs to evolve so that way the culture can spread because all we're going to be doing is reaching other Dominicans. And honestly, I'm one of those people when it comes to La Cultura, I rather it expand to other countries. I rather people like artists start showing up from other their
Inclusivity instead of
yeah,
exclusivity.
inclusivity. And like I think a lot of Dominicans are like are afraid that people out there won't pay homage to the goats. The thing is, like, honestly, some of the goats are still making music. Raulin still drops albums. Like Luis Vargas is still around. Like,
And
so
they'll
if
still get more love on some tacky shit than on some, you know, explorative, experimental stuff.
Yeah, those guys are getting their respect. So we need more artists to come through, and I think if more artists listen to your music and start trying to like I hate to say it, I don't want them to like copycat you, but I definitely want to hear some people where I'm like in the future where I'm like, oh, they definitely listened to Melvin War growing up. Like that's what I want to hear. Because even for artists that sound like Aventura, like it does kind of put a smile on my heart when I see other people listen to Aventura. I mean, make their music. I'm like, oh man, I could tell this person was influenced by Lenny from Aventura or Chichi. But the thing is that it's been years from now. I'm 31, and for me to now hear something, oh, that person just definitely listened to Aventura growing up. Wait, how old is this kid? Nah, man. Hey, we need to pull the plug somewhere. The plug's got to.
Nah, I know a couple of those that
We need
I'll
some. We need new artists that are influenced by some of the artists that are a little bit more recent. We need it because those artists that are quote unquote recent aren't as recent anymore. Aventura is not a recent artist anymore. Uh,
nah.
it's not.
But like yo, but what was it? I feel like when Romeo did the whole um
Golden.
nah, the other one, the one he just came out with.
Um,
How am I
that's
forget? How am
Joe.
I forgetting the name of
I
this?
hope Romeo, you hope you
Utopia,
never see
Utopia,
this because
Utopia. As soon as you release Utopia, I feel like a lot of people jump ship
oh
from
Utopia, yeah.
doing their creative experimental shit and they just went back to doing old school style bachata. And I was just like, I mean, that's cool, but that's going backwards. And I'm not saying everybody got to sound like how me or JR or Pinto or Kelvin sound. But goddamn, bro, like everybody's just gonna, be in this creative experimental space and just go back in time and be like, let's do
Bro, I've
some
been
90s style shit.
I've been in training for the past 2 years. So there's been times where like I've been so unplugged from the bachata game and just the Latin music industry as a whole that a new song. I just heard a new song from a new artist, and I was like, "When did this come out?" And somebody was like, "Last year." I was like, "Are you sure?" I didn't. I feel like I heard this song like when I was 15, like in Dominican Republic. Nah, bro, this is a new artist, bro. He didn't even exist back then. I was like, damn, you're right. So that's kind of sad when I'm I mean, that's cool because you mean that style will never die, which is good. But when there's just a flood of new artists that are trying to give that new image, but they're doing that old school uh sound, it's like you're not doing anything to to expand the
Yeah.
genre. It is just
But
like
I also think that also depends on your producer too, because if you hire someone like Mike Vito, you could tell him any style you want, he'll do it. Even styles that don't exist. He's like, I want some shit that don't exist. He'll pick it up, bro.
yeah, he can do from old school to whatever. Yeah, he'll pull stuff out of his hat, man.
Yeah.
It's
But this, then I think that's where my flaw is too, because you put me to do an old school song. I mean, I could try. It's not gonna be anything like, damn, he made it sound like the '90s. Nah, I just it's not part of my nature. But I think some artists need to invest in a producer like Maggie, or if they want some futuristic shit and have a budget for it, me. Well, yo, it depends who's your producer too. Because
it really
if you're
does.
looking to be different and you got some basic ass nigga,
Yeah. Well,
this
that's
is
why I'm
never gonna
becoming a
come out
huge
crazy.
fan of Symphony now because Symphony he's got that work ethic. But now he's reaching out to producers like you to do their music, which I'm like, dude, Symphony is gonna have more success this way because he's got the drive. Now all he needs to do is get the right music and be willing to like try because he's a fan of that the new type of music. And
Tiffany lives right down, well, not on the block, but he lives right here. He lives in town.
Duh, see, like there's yeah, I don't even really. Hopefully, I get him on the podcast one day. But before I let you go, I do want to talk about Las Luces. That's my favorite song on the album. Surprise people, it's not the song that me and Melvin have together. But
Yo,
I've listened
nah,
to Car Show so many times, bro. I'm still a fan of it, but it's like it's me on the track, so I'm very critical of like myself.
yeah,
But at the
yeah,
same time,
yeah.
like I know I crushed it. I know we crushed it. But at the same time, it's like when you hear some other songs, and it's like I've been so grown to my song that when I hear like the other songs, like dang, these are the other projects that were lined up for this. But La Luz is my favorite just because it's like you go on and do like a merengue like that for a while. Like you've been trying to,
Hmm.
you want to do a merengue that's different. And it's like, that's one of those genres where I'm like, man, that's hard to make that sound different. But then you did Las Luces, and I was like, bro, this like when Omega did it with merengue, kind of changing the kind of vibe and sound for it. You did that.
Yeah,
You did that in Las
yeah.
Luces. And I know
Yeah.
I want you, like, me being selfish, wants you to concentrate more on bachata. But bro, I ain't gonna be mad if you do another merengue like that, and then it
Now I'm doing
convinces
another one.
people.
I'm doing another
Dude,
one.
okay, good, because if they can convince more merengueros, like new merengue artists, to make at least do a song like that on their album, that would be tight. Because that vibe is just like, you mean when I think of merengue, to me it's like pegados, they're dancing under the,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, some beach in DR.
Some happy ass chord progression.
You're just like lit off of like your unlimited drinks at the resort or something or whatever.
Word,
You
yeah.
you just dancing with your girl. Las Luces, bro. So before you leave, I want you to kind of just like what direction, what kind of like what was your creative process in trying to make that merengue sound different?
So that song I did like 3 years ago. There's another old. That's another old one, yeah. I started like 3 years ago. With my boys, Noel, and myself and Johaida were all in the studio.
The guy who plays bajo,
Um, huh?
Joel, the one that plays bajo, that plays
Both
bass.
Joels.
Oh, both Joels.
Yeah, the tamborero or bongocero gurero,
Yeah.
and then Joel Bass, well, the official Joel, whatever you want to call him. He has I don't know what name he goes by anymore. It's either the official Joel or Joelito. I don't know. So I'll just be
I
like
call him Joelito
whatever.
because I see that everywhere.
I call him Joel because I know him personally. So I mean,
Yeah.
whatever you know him as, that nigga.
Yeah.
And then my boy Noel, he's a videographer, but he also plays congas and piano. So I had him do the piano on Las Luces. So we did that. There was no really like a set direction. I just knew I wanted to do the same formula I have for bachatas that I do. So I started off with some R&B style, the rhythm guitar for a merengue, and then yeah, the rest was history. They just laid the percussion down. I didn't even put any vocals on it at that point. It was just the whole
Oh, really? It's
instrumental. I
just
was
the
like,
music?
it was just the music, and then I was like, all right, word. So I worked on it over the years. Last year I got serious about finishing it, so I had my brother hop on. Did I have my brother hop on? Yeah, I had to hop on to do like synth bass and stuff like that. So once I started doing that, fucking around with it a little bit, cutting it up, turning it up, giving it that space. I don't know if you noticed in the third verse. In the third verse, I cut the percussion out and just had
Yeah.
my voice, and then it slowly built up. I
Yeah.
usually do that in the beginning of every song, but I was just like, nah, let me just start it off strong, and then have a fucking climax and just woo.
Nah, of
And
course,
yeah,
man.
no,
I definitely, that's actually like my favorite part on the song when
I
you
love
start
that
doing
part, bro.
that. I love that part.
Yeah.
It's like right when I'm already enjoying it, I'm like, all right. I was like, we've been in this song for a minute. Whoa, all right. It's getting...
But that's why I did it too, because
But
then
wait, there's
that
more.
song was almost 5 minutes, bro. So it's like you have to find a way to keep this shit interesting. Otherwise, she would just be like, it's been the same thing for 5 whole minutes.
Well, that's the thing with merengue too. Is like merengue is like when a girl says yes to you to dance merengue, it's like she's pretty much she's pretty much giving away like 5 to 10 minutes of her time at that dance
It's
at
a
that
lot of
dance.
time, bro.
Yeah, because merengues are usually long, and the fact that you actually put that in consideration and put that, hey, my track's long, there's got to be something there that keeps people in. That
You know
just
what's crazy? A lot of songs on the album are long as hell. I have like 3 songs at almost 5 minutes. Godzilla is one of them. Sentir was four
yeah.
minutes and 51 seconds.
It definitely keeps you
Uh,
around though. There's a formula there where sometimes I feel like the songs were short, but then I look at the timestamp, I'm like, oh, I was like, it felt like shorter, but it's good though, because that means that like that when that happens, when you think it was too short, or not when you think it's too short, when you think it was short but it was actually long, means that it was good and you
you
want more.
enjoyed it.
You
Yeah.
enjoyed it, yeah,
The
exactly.
song I sent you this morning, Rose, that shit is 3 minutes. It's a short song, but you could tell it was short. But yo, I love that song, bro. That's gonna come out Valentine's Day.
Oh, Melvin claims this is the best song he's worked on yet. Like he's
Not yo, best to date.
he only sent me
Best
the
to date.
premix, so I can only imagine what it's gonna sound like in the end. I listened to it like on my speakers and my headphones and everything because I saw premix on there and I was like, all right, let me listen.
It's not bad for a premix though.
No, it was really good, honestly. Last thing, what's your drink of choice when you're in the studio? Whether it be water to tequila, what's Melvin
Uh,
War drinking when he's
uh depends, man.
I hear a lot of
Usually,
rose in your
usually
songs. I don't know if you actually drink rose, Melvin.
I don't, I don't, I don't.
About the rose gate.
I just say it because, bro.
Hey,
But
it sounds good. It sounds good in music.
it does. It does,
We
especially
gonna
when you're
say some
comparing it to whiskey.
rosé, and we're just like, ooh, that sounds fancy. Something like a girl like, but that I can also enjoy if she gives me some.
Nah, so usually it's just water. When it's like a late night weekend vibe, then I'll probably have a couple beers. If there's whiskey available, I have some whiskey. That's about it, man. It's just those are my poisons. And then
In the studio? I'm talking about in the
in the
studio.
in the studio, yeah, in the studio,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, whiskey. You drinking a man's drink, man? That's me right there all day. All right, all right. I
And
fuck
then
with
yeah,
you on
that's it.
that one.
It just once it starts hitting, the music starts hitting.
Man, bro. That's insane. I just realized something. I didn't even have the mic up to me, so my audio is probably just as good as your audio. Now look at that, bro. You see how
Damn,
much
now it
clearer I
sounds
sound?
mad clear. Holy shit.
I don't even know, man. This thing, I have the game up, so hopefully it should be decent. Probably better than half of the interviews you hear like on Zoom right now, where people just yeah.
Or because
Hey
you got the
man,
setup.
but I'm gonna let you go, man. You gotta get back to your creative process. I'm like I feel so humbled that you decided to hop on my podcast, this interview.
Come on, you're
Uh,
my boy, bro.
yeah, I'm the first. Y'all heard it here first. A lot of firsts happen right here on this podcast.
Word.
All right, man. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is Melvin War. Follow him at.
All right. Follow me only on IG, Melvin War, at Melvin War. Facebook is Melvin War. And then everywhere else I don't use. So if you're on there, cool. If not, whatever.
I've been sending you. I've been sending you a message on Twitter for the past 50 years.
Yeah, not just. I
Man, I don't get
barely
on
use any of
Twitter.
that shit, bro. Twitter or I deleted Snapchat like a year ago. But yeah, I was yeah. Instagram, Facebook, Melvin War. That's it. Get me on
Right.
there. If you follow Melvin War music, it's a waste of time. Just follow at Melvin War.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on.
There you know, man. We'll talk soon.